All right. Good morning. How's it going? It's Saturday morning. Cartoons, kids. Let's see. I just sat down, so give me a minute here and I'll kind of get things going. Share that. Let me share the actual video to Facebook here. Go to Facebook. For drawing. Chatting. Saturday morning cartoons. Number 13. Can you believe it? I think I missed 1 week, 1 or 2 weeks. So I've been doing this for a while now. It doesn't seem like that long. Huh. But I guess it has been a while now. Well, I'll be honest, I don't feel like drawing this morning. Been kind of in a drawing funk for a few days, but I'm going to do it anyway. Usually that's what you got to do. Just get your arse in the chair, as they say. So that's what I'm going to do this morning and see how it goes. I'm sure it'll be fine. What's the worst that can happen, right? I'm trying to think what the worst that could happen. I mean, like I could lose all my pages. I think I'm on page 75. I'm getting ready to draw. That'd be bad. I think I got them backed up, but I probably need to make sure. That'd be bad. I wouldn't want that. That'd make me cry, I think, for this. I've been working on this for... I think I've been working on this for 6 months. Have that go down the toilet would be a bit, yucky, I'd say. But let's see what else. I mean, the page that I draw could turn out real bad, but not bad enough where I don't do it again. That'd be bad. Then it makes it in the book, and then I'm not happy with it later. That's happened a lot. That's not good. What else could go wrong? But what if I just draw it and I just waste the whole day drawing it and I want to draw it over again? That's happened before. That kind of sucks. But that's just wasting a couple hours, and it's not really wasting it. I mean, you kind of learn what you don't like, so. What else is worse that could happen? I could pee my pants while sitting here, ruin my chair, carpeting here. That'd be bad. Would that be worse than pooping my pants? If I pooped my pants, it really wouldn't ruin the chair or anything, I don't think, depending on how bad it was. All right, this conversation is going nowhere fast. Let's see. I need to plug in my phone. I'll do that. How is the weather where you're at? The weather here is warm here in Michigan and wet. It's kind of beautiful out for this time of day. I mean, in the morning it's not so hot, And I just went outside, took the garbage out and stuff. And it's kind of nice out. I like mornings. Probably why I'm sitting here Saturday morning cartoons. But instead of Saturday night. Saturday Night Fever. We plug this into the phone here so I make sure we don't run out of battery juice. Oh, well, okay, it's up here. Silly goose. All right, there we go. I'll move this up around here. That way it goes like that. Okay. We're getting there, folks. We're getting there. Drink some coffee. Got some second-rate coffee in my cup. But it's still good. Yeah, that works. All right, let's get down to brass tacks here, folks. Let's talk about comics. Let's see if anybody joins up today and distracts me from this thing that I'm supposed to be working on. I got a good panel, one panel page today. Just one panel. It's going to be, that's the idea, I think. Got to check it out and see where I'm at. See what's what. Okay, it's 9:05 in the morning. Excellent. We're getting a decent start here. All right. Unfortunately, I don't think I've made a lot of progress since I worked on this last week. I don't feel like I'm going to start on page 75. Dang. I wanted to be a lot further. But, what am I going to do? I'm at where I'm at. Like I said, last few days I haven't been very productive. Work's been kind of busy. My wife left town for a few days, left me here alone. Well, my daughter's still here. She's great. But, yeah, and you'd think I would get some drawing done, but I just kind of, I don't know. I like it when my wife is here. I really like my wife. I like it like that. So I was just, maybe I was busy doing some of the stuff that she normally does. I don't think so, to be honest. Just, I don't know. It's been kind of in a funk. This happens, it's not a big deal. All right. So what are we going to do here? We're going to, I've got my Clip Studio Paint open per usual. This is page 74 that I was working on probably last week. If you go back and watch the replay. But I'm not going to do that. All right. What I need to do is create a new page. So we'll take this page and story, duplicate page. There we go. Boom. Take this page, move it right there, and it becomes page 75. Let's open this up. There's some sort of freaking foreign object on my screen here. What the heck? All right. Huh. All right. So like a booger or something? Jesus, gross. Okay. All right, 75. Now, what we're going to do is take the layer, this layer, and we're going to delete it. Take this layer, and we're going to delete it. We're going to take this layer, edit, transform it just like that. What do you think? Yeah. So it's just going to be one big panel on our page. Oh, yeah, I just don't feel like drawing this morning. Good grief. I feel like going back to bed, I think. I got up and I showered and shaved and everything. Oh, he's coming home later. So I don't want to be too disgusting. Like I usually am on Saturday morning when she's here. Anyway, all right. So the deal with this page is I've been looking forward to drawing this page actually. So what I want to do though is take one of these previous pages, probably this page, and this picture right here, this picture right here in the middle. I want to take that and put it in the page 75 that I'm working on. But what I want to do is like this. Let's see. How are we going to do this? One thing I could do is see what's the reference photo underneath that. I usually keep all my reference photos down here. Yeah, that's not it. This is it right here, I think. Okay. Huh. Well, we'll see. Edit, copy, make that disappear again. Go back to page 75. Paste. There that is. Okay. So that's our reference photo right there. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you can see it. It's really not the same as the bridge that's in the picture before, but I just kind of made it up. Anyway, take this and really blow it up big like that. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to draw the bridge smaller and then blow it up. Draw it in pencil. There, just like that. Let me go back to that other page. There's no sense in doing this. All right, I'll leave that there, but let me go back to that other page. Where was I? Was it here? Yeah. Why don't I just take the inks from that page? Here we go. Nope, not that one. The middle panel, ink right there. I see I got a labeled ink. Man, good. Copy that. Go back to page 75. Edit, paste. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. All right, then we take this. We're going to make it smaller. We're also going to color it blue. There we go. All right. Now we can transform this. Edit, transform. I'll make it a little bit taller. Just to make it seem more dramatic, see? Yeah, that's going to be cool. All right. I think that works. Right about there. Yep. Okay. Nice. So, but what we're going to do is we're not going to have this car here. This is going to be like that. Then we're going to have some lines like this. There we go. One moment, please. Oh, hey. Look who's with us. Good morning. Sweet, sweet guacamole. It's Paul Pate, ladies and gentlemen. It's Christopher Runtsman. Good morning, Christopher. Hope you're doing all right. Top of the morning to you there. And you're probably like, I think London's actually south of me, or maybe about even. I used to work with this guy. His name was Sommer, and he married a girl from London. You're London, Chris. And her name was Ruby. Beautiful girl. Man, that was a disaster. They got a divorce, I think, like 6 months into their marriage. It was bad. Yeah. Poor guy. Anyway, yeah, her brothers came over here and moved her out or something. I don't know. It was bad. He was like scared for his physically like afraid of them, you know. He's doing fine now. He lives in Nashville or something, I think. But yeah, that was a bad time. Anyway, Ruby from London. Yeah, I think they got married in London. So anyway, how are you this morning, Chris? Oh, here we go. Good morning, sir. That's either a good-looking bridge coming together or the Hall of Justice, right? Yeah, I'm going for like a dramatic look. I've been looking for this page here for a while, page 75. It's kind of like, it's a bridge, by the way. Yes. Thank you for recognizing it. But yeah, it's sort of like the culmination of a scene or whatever. It's supposed to be sort of a dramatic moment. These cars are not going to be here. It's just going to be the bridge. And then Detective Perez is going to be standing in the middle of it all by himself, saying how the bad guys got away. So that's what's going on here. What do you got going on today, Chris? Oh, sorry he went through that. Yeah, he's fine. We laughed about it at the time. We would still laugh about it. I talked to him. Gosh, I talked to him about 6 or 7 months ago, and he's doing great now. But one of those things. Rubies always have bruiser brothers with potentially brutal behavior. Yeah. uh, yeah, it was funny. She was a beautiful girl, but just not right in the head. I think it was like not an arranged marriage, but like their family. They were friends for a long time, and their families were all in. It was just really like a lot of drama to the whole situation, and he got out of that. So made it out by the hair on his chinny chin chin. One of those things you can look back and laugh about, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's traumatized by it. My wife and I, we both look back on our previous relationships and try to laugh about it because we try to find a sense of humor or have a sense of humor about life, Was she a mafioso's daughter? No, I don't think so, but her, I don't know. I don't think so. But her brothers were big and scary. And what happened was was she a millionaire, spoiled heiress? Yeah, I think that might have been what was going on. And which was hard for him to, reconcile because he's thinking, okay, this is sweet. But the situation is not good. Was she a demon? Yes, that's what she was. But what happened was she moved out, but her brothers came and helped her move out. And so that scared him, like these guys just came to where he lived and just showed up and went in his place, and so that sort of kind of, I don't know, made him uneasy. And, that makes sense. So, and I guess they were kind of big bad dudes. So, I mean, he was no joke either. He's, but he was just the kind of, he had big muscles and young guy and everything, but I don't think he was a violent type at all, not intimidating or anything. He was just real kind of easygoing guy. She was a little firecracker, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, this kind of good stuff stories are made of. I like that kind of stuff when it happens to other people. I'm ready to ink this mug. What do you got going on today? Oh, crap. I almost screwed it up here. Oh, no, I didn't. She was a Cracker Jack. Yes, she was. Cracker Jack Demon. Straight from the box. What do you got going on today, Chris? Please tell me you got something better planned than listen to me talk about this crap. Make my eraser back down to what it was, 30. Get my pen here. We'll make my pen about 20. 20, perfect. You never know what you'll get out of the box. Yes. She was not like a box of chocolates. I am working in studio right now. Nice. Well, let me know if you want to, you're welcome to join up and here and chat if you want to draw and chat. Audio's just audio is fine. If you want to pop in for a few minutes, that's cool. Or we can just chat in the thing. Or I want to listen to some music, but they always, put the little copyright thing on there. And I thought about just doing it. Oh yeah, cool, excellent. Yeah, just jump right in. So I thought about doing the music anyway. and just not saving this, just making a live stream, All right, Chris is going to jump in. That'd be great. Let me take this. Let me do this here. This is what I got to do when I have a guest: is clean up my house here a little bit. So I'll put this thing on there and then take this off. There we go. Clean things up a little bit. There we go. Ding, ding, ding. All right. I should be able to ink now, but I'm trying to watch if Chris shows up. What did I just do? All right, make it on the right layer here. Ink. There we go. Oh, yeah. So you don't feel like drawing until you sit down and you start drawing, and then it feels all right. All right. So you just got to get going. Same things like exercise or whatever you're doing in life. Sometimes you just got to get up off your butt and move. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, Chris, it's at the top of the comments, I believe. Try that link. If not, I can send it to you. Hold on. I'll go over here to Facebook Messenger. I'll send it to you there. Run C-Man. Nope, wrong link. Don't click on that link. I just sent you the, sorry. Hold on. Copy this. Okay. And, okay, I just sent you two links. The second one, the StreamYard one, is the correct link, Chris. Sorry about that. It's also at the top of the YouTube comment. Oh, there we go. Cool, we found it. All right, I'm keeping my eyes peeled for you, Chris. Trying. There he is. Run C-Man.
Oh, it's Paul.
Why, good morning, sir.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm catching up here. I'm like, why in the world?
Why, good morning, sir.
I'm like, why in the world am I getting these announcements? Hold on a sec. Hold on a sec. There we go. I'm in. Okay.
Oh yeah, it had me going in the background there. Oh boy, look at that machinery. Awesome.
Oops. Yeah, this is something that I don't know what this is. I just drawn a page.
Wow. Now I can see your clipboard, but I can't see you. I can see like just like a teeny
Mine
tiny
corner?
corner of your screen where you're that pointed at your face, which is fine if that's how you want it. That's cool.
Oh, hold on. That's weird.
Because actually, if you do it like that, then I can do it like this. And we can see your drawing, and that's kind of awesome. But there we go. Oh, wait. Let me do it. There we go. Man, you've had your coffee already?
Nope, but I'm taking care of that right now.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
My kids got me that. That's
That's perfect.
fortunate with Dad.
That's I got this one.
Well, that's a good size one as well. Oh my God, you're the best dad.
Yeah, that's what they tell me, right?
What's all this crap I got in my house? It's a lie.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
guess
lie.
I'll take it. I know they're lies, but some lies you don't mind hearing.
No, if you're the best dad, then what have they been telling me for years?
I don't know. They've been lying to one of us.
I don't get very much best dad stuff. I get like, hey Dad, here's a cup with a Sasquatch on it. What are you saying, kid? What are you saying? You telling me I need to shave?
Right, yeah.
Because I can't help the rest of it. So look, I really like. Let's talk about Paul Pate. I really like your processor. I really like the fact that you're very straightforward and honest. And hey, I'm working on my rough pencils, which, by the way, might be finished pencils for many people. And
a lot of times I like the roughs better than I do the finished page, but
understandably. Hold on one second.
One
my cat right in the ass. Just a second.
I'm contemplating drawing these outline. No, I'm not doing that.
All right. Sorry, Paul.
No problem at all.
I have Corbin in the studio with me here.
Yeah.
He is a bozo. That's language from the old country. And what that country is, I don't know. And lately, he has taken to standing outside our bedroom door and howling like a lunatic for hours. Please get up. Somebody needs to occupy me. I believe I need to be fed again for the third time this morning. Why can I not climb on the bed and yell in your face? Or whatever other random thoughts are going through his head. He's a ridiculous, ridiculous guy. Anyways, so I had to go down the hall and remove him from our doorway because Lori and I are both feeling poorly this weekend. And
bummer.
Yeah, we've been going full barrel for weeks, and it's all just caught up with us. So now we're both just wiped out. Hence my lovely visage. No makeup.
Yeah.
But other than that, still clearing the sleep out of my eyes. Yeah. Anyways, let's talk about your process because I really like watching how you do your line work.
Oh, well, thanks.
Now I'm going to do the inks. And it's like, for many people, your line work is the result, right? And
I don't know. I mean, no. Well, this line work, I just copied this. This line work that you see here is inks from another page. So my
like an image.
What's that?
An image you've already drawn?
Yeah. I just made it bigger, distorted it, made it. I blew it up, distorted
That's
it a
not
bit.
it's not necessarily so much as copying as it is really effectively utilizing the materials that you've already put together, right?
Yeah, yeah,
If you've got a shot of a building, or in this case a bridge, and you've got multiple scenarios that might happen on that bridge because your
yeah,
characters seem to pass back and forth over it, or it's a main plot point,
yeah.
low
That's
town, high town, right?
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
Reusing that image, that's just smart.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, well, I mean, drawing it from different vantage points, etc. Yeah, great. But for the
yeah,
most part, why not reuse that shot in a different scale or something like that according to each different scene? So yeah,
yeah.
good for
That's
you.
basically what I did. I've drawn it 4 or 5 times now, and they've all been from different angles.
Yeah.
Maybe more than that. I'd have to go back and count, but they've all been from different angles. So at this point, I don't mind reusing one of them because it's at a completely, I just zoomed into one little part of it. So it's almost like and then I distorted it a little bit. So I'm kind of just reusing it, but it's creating a new, I just don't mind reusing that image. So
Well, yeah, and you shouldn't really.
no,
You've done a body of work. If I can, for a moment, please talk about the powerful amount of work, 6 in camera, that Mr. Paul Pate has done. Oh, hey, why don't I put it in a bigger camera? Look at these, for heaven's sakes, folks. These are great.
thanks.
And when you look at the amount of work and effort and defined story that you have of these characters, like your characters are really, especially Detective Perez is really, really quite well defined at this point. Nicely rounded character.
Well, thanks. I really appreciate that. That's nice, Chris. I really, I mean, the first 2 books that I made I did, it was such a long process that I did all by myself.
Yeah.
It was so salty. So I really appreciate this, being able to do stuff like this, get on
Mm-hmm.
here and interact with other great artists like I really respect your work
Oh.
and so that means a lot coming from you.
Well, I want to talk about something, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So one of the things that I find really interesting to me is part 3, book 1, where you have the cop. Okay, so I don't want to give away who it is or the context or anything like that, but just when I walk through the pacing of the scene, here he is being led into the vehicle or into the back of the car, right?
Mm-hmm.
And bang, here comes the Jeep vehicle is now smashed in the back of the car. You've already set the tone because you have the car going the same direction as you have it in the previous shot where the car is whole and healthy and well. Now you've crumpled in its back end. We've got 2 characters in the same placement as they were before. And the scene just reads so easily.
Oh.
And it's stuff like that. And then we've got the 3 guys in the previous page, brought in, walking up, right? Junker pickup filled with commandos. And they walk up to the guy's down on his knees begging. Up comes the bad guy. Like the pacing and the setup of all that. Well done. Really well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I think that it's something that maybe, a lot of people, when they look at books and when they look at end results and finished results, if they grow up reading, Marvel DC books, if they grow up reading European comics with the complexity of panels and all of that stuff, and when they have to approach and step into a different vantage point, you've got a really strong horizontal breakdown for your books. And, it's not just a horizontal alone. You've got cut panels. Well, not that page, sorry, folks. Um, trying to find they're very rare, but when they do happen, they happen purposely. But you'll have it basically broken up like this occasionally, right?
Yeah, right.
But there's a consistent flow, a dynamic through the panels on a horizontal axis. And I think that because of that definitive style, there's an audience for you that might not look at some of those other materials because of, aesthetic bias and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But they're missing out. I always find that people are missing out when they don't realize you've got potential gold to find. Stylistically, it's different than whatever you might have been looking at because of, a lot of the people that try to do noir. Would you consider your work noir? Because I do.
Yeah, yes, totally, 100%.
I think it's firmly entrenched in noir, so I'm glad I'm glad I didn't offend you. But a lot of those people have to have these really heavy black and white contrasts on their pages, and it's all quite elaborate. And yours has this simpler line and fantastic grayscale approaches to things. That those books wouldn't have. And so because I think that if people lean heavily into noir only being one thing, they're going to miss out on that because those purists can't see beyond, right? It's like fans of black and white crime noir movies that would never watch Blade Runner.
Right, yeah. Which is, such a great noir film, right?
It's just a different aesthetic from the traditional.
Yeah.
And so that's when I'm talking about different aesthetic, I'm not doing it in a demonstrative way. I'm doing it like you've got your own voice.
Yeah.
And people shouldn't want to miss out on that. So I highly recommend these two books. And the third one that you're working on.
Well, I hope the third one is, I feel like my writing has gotten a lot better and my art has gotten so much better that I feel like I hope this will be a step up from the first.
Well, look, even if some of your audience base changes, even if people say, the art's more complicated now and the story, there's just so much going on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but that's generally weighed in equal measure with the person that goes, whoa, holy cow, step up, nice, love it, So you can't worry about pleasing the audience if you're feeling really good about it.
Yeah, that's more what I'm going for. Is I want to be feeling good about it,
Well, that's perfect. That's exactly what it should be. I think a lot of people can't get long form projects done like yours, and these are. I think it's like 100 pages. You said to me one time, and I'm like, Paul, this clock's in at 221. What are you talking about? They're both over 100. I remember you saying that to me, and I opened them up, and I'm like, they're both over 200, man. They're both over 100.
I want you to get your money's worth. I don't want you to feel gypped.
But your modesty is funny. I think it's a good sign when somebody can be modest about what they're producing. But at the same time, I think you should be really proud and lean into that a little more and realize that it's really strong work you're producing.
Oh man, thanks, Chris. It's like I said, it really means a lot to me.
Oh well, that's nice of you, but I'm not trying to flirt with you.
I'm disappointed.
If I do that, I'd comment on that luxurious hat.
So I still haven't had a chance to sit down and read yours. I'm looking forward to
it. Heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But the difference with mine and from yours is that you don't have to. Yours is there's an investment of time to sit down because you want to, when you start a 200-page book, whether if it's not heavily text or visual laden because you have this horizontal repetitive pattern and the text only has so many words that you can fit per panel. So it's not like it's a read that's going to take me weeks. It's a
Right.
read that's I'm gonna be able to sit down and pour through. The big difference between the book that I don't remember what I sent you, if it was just the one page or if it was other stuff. But the difference is that you don't have to invest that time. Just put a bookmark in there. Oh, one page funny.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, which is great. Yeah.
My friend said, well, this person's it's just somebody that said this to me, and not so much that it was my friend. I don't know why I'm particulating that, but I said that my book is a perfect toilet read.
That's great.
And when you hear that, you go, fantastic,
Wow,
right?
thank you so much.
Is that good? But they mean it in the sense that
Yeah.
I can sit down for a second, click through a couple of pages. Awesome. Find the thing that just sets with me, and off I go.
Yeah.
And that's kind of nice, actually. When so I've shown drawings and paintings for years, and a friend of mine who's a real friend of mine, had a piece hanging in his washroom on his main floor of his house.
Okay.
And when he told me that, I went, great. And that's, why are you telling me that? And he goes, I know what you're thinking, but think about this. Anybody that comes as a guest to my house, they're going to see your work.
Right. There you go.
It's such a heartfelt intention that, you know what I mean? Like, he specifically thought, I'm going to put it in there because everybody will see it. Like, that's a weird one.
Left-handed compliments.
It's intentional. Like, it's an intended comment. It's a positive comment. It's just a surprising one. So how far along are you in your new book? How many pages in are you?
This is 75.
75 pages already.
Out of 200. So
yeah, but how long have you been going on this one?
6 months.
That's fantastic. That's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so it doesn't take me forever, because that would just get me depressed.
Oh, sure. But at the same time, people's working process takes whatever time people's working process takes.
No, and I always say that about like Gary and Josh. They've got years and years planned in their project. That doesn't work for me, but it works for them. Obviously they're perfectly happy.
Yeah, but it's also there's also something to, like, okay, so some people will complain about it takes so long to do a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And other people will say, so-and-so just can run it off. Just go sit down, there's the whole thing in the course of X amount of time. Yeah, because they have this and this and this. And the other person, it takes too long. Well, yeah, it's because they got this and this and this. And there's all this this sort of exclusive language about one or the other, or I think it's important to just recognize that everybody works at different speeds.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with complexity, or it has nothing to do with external factors or anything like that. I think it's entirely to do with people work at different speeds.
Yeah, it's just as simple as that.
Yeah, and it's important to recognize and to see all that stuff on equal terms, right?
Yeah, right. And my thing is, like, I think if you become comfortable with that, or you just accept that, then you become comfortable with it, and you can enjoy your process more. And I think that's the real key to creating quality work or connecting with your art is well, for me anyway, is if I enjoy it. I want
yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that's just what I want to come through, with my art, is the joy that I have for life, and I want the reader to take away that same, just maybe catch a little bit of that. You know what I mean?
Well, there's a funny thing in that because your work is crime noir, right?
Mhm.
And despite
Right.
being crime noir,
It's inspirational crime noir, though.
it's inspirational crime noir with exotic events. What?
Corbin wants to say, Paul, you're
Yes.
full of crap.
Yeah. You want to see Paul? There he is. See him? Hi,
Hey
Paul.
there, Corbin.
How are
What's
you?
happening, Buster?
How are you? The kids have all moved out, so Dad makes me hang out with them all the time. Cat's a lunatic. Anyways, what I was saying was that your work being crime noir, some of the things about crime noir that I think many people might miss and be a little reductive and just look at it as, good guy, bad guy story, right?
Right.
Where the reality is, I think that crime noir and sometimes mystery stories. I don't think that they're as definitive as crime noirs, but they're really studies in humanity.
Right, for sure.
Well, because you're going to see a lot of those characters in really primal states. Like you're going to see somebody who's so down on his luck.
Yeah.
And how he responds to that as opposed to the next guy being or gal being down on their luck really defines who they are.
Yeah, and if you think about a detective, that person is a master observer, right? They notice all details.
A good one is, yeah.
Yeah, and they notice every detail of scenes, right? But they also are a people person, meaning, they can read people. Listen to Corbin. He's just like,
He's
you're full
just
of crap, Paul.
no, he's not saying that. He's just nonstop blathering. Anyways. Attend to me. I'll take pats on my face. Yeah. Go ahead. You're saying if the detectives being attentive to detail.
Yeah, and they're people. They can read people, They so they're a people person too, or they're, communicating and they understand. So like, for example, my wife and I, we go for a walk or when we go places, my wife notices the architecture. And to give me directions, she'll go, well, drive by that house with the purple door. And then
I can't see the purple door over there.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there was a purple door there, but I'm 100% sure there's a purple door there, but I couldn't tell you where that is,
Oh, Paul,
give me a
look at the
street name or whatever.
That house has nice neighbors.
But I, wherever we go, I recognize people and faces, and never, I'll never forget a face. And I'm like, there's that guy. That guy from the.
It would be better for you if your wife gave you directions like, Paul, turn into the guy in the purple shirt.
That's right. But we could walk right by a person that we know, and she wouldn't recognize him.
Is that right?
Yeah. So I'm the people guy, and she's the observant one, right? But I feel like a detective is both.
I think to some extent, I think that their observational skills are honed on a different level. I mean, you and your wife are equally observant, just in different ways,
right?
And towards different subject matter.
Yeah,
right.
For sure.
Like I think that there's something to be said for your writing interests and the fact that you recognize people first and foremost, because there's very humanistic writing in your work, and so that comes from looking at people, studying people. Yeah. I don't mean like sitting there on a bus with a newspaper up at your face and doing this business. Hold on, I got it. It's a great example.
Oh yeah, that's me. Yeah. Right. I go like this.
The paper's dirty. Redskin squeeze on pounds. Yeah.
It's like this. I can do that. I can get just like that. It's great.
It's so great. Why did you become such a great writer, Paul?
Like creepy.
Don't even explain it. Don't even explain it in the context of the interview. How come you became such a great writer? Just hold up a piece of paper and go, do this a lot. This has been a great interview. And we'll be back after these messages with, probably Fidel and this his gopher family that he's brought in. Yeah. Interview over.
Right.
He's a creep who makes children's books. Get him out of here. That's not what I meant.
Exactly.
I study the human condition.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, I drive my partner crazy. I drive her nuts because we'll be driving down any given road, and I'll see a beautiful home that's a little long in the tooth. Somebody's lived there that hasn't really taken care of it,
Right.
and I see in it, or it's a house that's it's 125 years old, and people have lost the aesthetic of it, and they've bad additions and bad renovations, and
Yeah.
oh, look at this beautiful porch that's sort of been half covered over with. Why would you cover half that porch with vinyl and leave the other half? What are you doing?
Right.
And so I'll see this, but I see it for the potential, whereas we drive by and Lori looks at it and goes, "That's done." She doesn't even see it as anything remarkable, because in her head it's like, oh, forget it.
Yeah.
I'm not the one that wants to do that in the first place.
Right.
Whereas I'm Mr. We can bring it back to life, hon.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that's like that creativity gene inside of you that sees wants to, I don't know, build stuff and create things.
Well, like with my studio, like with our house, I've gone through our whole house, and
yeah,
we've added a floor, right? Like
awesome.
And so I guess because of doing all that stuff, there's this part of me that has this builder's itch,
Oh yeah.
And,
I do not have that.
Every now and then I gotta get it out, but Lori, I think, like, she went away the other weekend. Like, she went to her parents for the day because Dad's having a hard time, and so she's back and forth to her folks a lot right now. And she goes out the one day and she's like, "I'm sorry I've left you on your own." I'm like, "No, I've kept myself occupied. I added 4 feet onto my desk." Right? Like, I was completely renovating in my studio, and I built a 4-foot extension on my desk with shelving it built into it.
Yeah.
And like, so my desk is absurd, right? But it fits me, and it's in our place, and we don't have to accommodate a lot of people in our space. It's just us and these 2 yo-yos, and they're both here now, by the way.
By the way, Adam says, "Good morning, gentlemen."
Good morning.
Thanks for gentlemen.
Oh Lord. So because of that, I scratched that itch that way, and that's good enough. That's better than trying to buy an old Victorian and renovating that in this point in our lives. You know what I mean? And there's just us to live in the first place. It's creative expression is always going to come out. Like, it's a really important and valuable thing to recognize that the amount of work you've done. A lot of people talk about doing the amount of work that you've done. It's a wholly different thing to just do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Generally, that's the proof in the pudding, right? Is that
I think so.
You've sat down and you've knuckled it out. And I think I give far more merit to that than I give to, if you set yourself up a big objective, get rocket on that train. Like, just get rocketing on that train. And then, because the more and more that you build it up, the longer it's going to take you to get moving on the track.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you just got to get rolling. How far can I push this train analogy?
Yeah.
And I think the fact that you've got 2 volumes done already is so commendable. 1 volume, so commendable. 2 volumes, 3 volumes, Good. He's out of control.
Yeah, it's completely out of control is what that is. But it's what I want to do. So,
Well, you're doing it well.
well, thanks, Chris. You've been an inspiration for sure.
Is it because of the dancing?
It's dancing. I was going to ask you something about. Gosh, now I can't think of it.
Just go to my standard.
Go to your
Never on the first date always ask for chocolate. Does that answer it?
About the streaming.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what it was. So I was thinking, I want to, I would like to have music on here,
Yeah.
but you can't because.
Are you on StreamYard?
Yeah.
Okay, so go to the sidebar on the right side of the screen. You'll see those 4 little icons there.
Yeah.
Go down. Let's see the one icon for branding.
Yeah.
Click it.
Yeah. No, yeah, I mean, I know how to get on here. What I'm saying is I'd like to play
the branding, right?
Yeah.
And then scroll down to the bottom section of that.
Okay.
StreamYard provides you with some music tracks so that you can have something playing in the background.
I got you. Okay. All right.
Right? No, it's not going to be your favorite Bay City Rollers album.
Oh, in fact, I already have some that I made.
But
yeah,
there you
I
go.
got you.
And so you can incorporate that into the background of your streams.
Okay.
Have I done this myself yet? No. But I was playing with it one day.
Well, what I was
find it out.
Well, what I was going to say though was I want to just play like the music that I like to listen to, like
Well, then you have copyright problems.
Yeah, that's what you get. But I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'll just do it, and then it does it live on YouTube, and then just delete the video when I'm done because I really am only interested in the live. For me.
Yeah, because YouTube would delete it for you anyhow.
Right.
They would stop it anyhow and not let you utilize that. So
yeah.
If you're comfortable with that, then you can do it.
Yeah, that's what I'm contemplating. I mean, I don't think it would work for you because you're building an audience, and you've got an audience, and you're building it so that you want to have your videos stay out there. But for me, I mean, it's like you and my mom watching, and Adam, of course.
Hi, Mom. Whatever. Hi, Dad. Well, yeah. Motivation is what will allow you to do that. Like if your intention is just for the primary interaction while you're working.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But if your intention is, I'm going to say something that might not make sense. Okay. So with the amount of work that you've produced, if you're producing your work for the intention of exposition, you just need to get this out of your system. You just want to produce these. You just want to, you'll put them in the wind to see if anybody else reads them. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of times what we do in our creative outputs is to have some additional necessity of exposition to other people, an additional form of communication that might be more simplified for us. And in this case, I could draw and tell stories where I feel uncomfortable talking in social situations, or in this case, it's I want everybody to see me in all my grandeur. There's a whole bunch of different motivations for why people do things.
Right.
If you're putting your books out and your intention with your books is to get some measure of recognition beyond maybe a social circle, beyond maybe an immediacy of family and friend or friends developed. If your intention is to get your books out there and have people see it and give honestly some recognition to the sheer quality output that you've been doing, and I highly recommend it, your work. But if your intention is to try to find those connections and try to find these engagements and maybe even build up fans and build up readers and build up, other possible opportunities, then no, don't put music on your videos, and do consider this as another means to promote your work. But if you don't care about that part, if you're not interested in the solicitation of your work in that regard, then yeah, do your live videos and hang out on the thing, and then delete them.
Yeah.
So it's tricky. It's tricky, right?
Because but this is what I was wondering about, though. Where
Yeah.
Adam says some copyrighted material, it will stop your stream. That's what I don't want.
Well, that's where you can't get in anything owned by the bigger corporations.
Okay.
Because they have algorithms that are out there in the ether and in the web that are purposely hunting that down.
Yeah.
Right? Well, think if you're trying to play the White Album on your stream's done.
That's right.
Right.
And I'm strictly like a pop guy, So
if you want to play a Kiss album on your stream, your stream's done.
Yeah.
Right. Just because those are two examples of a system that is really good, has really good facilitation for hunting down any usage of their property rights.
Right.
And there's other things that you can do, like if you have a mixed, if you do like a dub mix of music that blends one song into the next song, so it's not definably recognizable for X amount of time.
Right.
You can get away with it, but you really want to sit down and start writing dubsteps of the Beatles?
Right. That'd be fun.
It would, but that's not what your interest is. Your interest is in what you're doing right now.
Right.
So this is a random one page that I'm working on. I've already got today's one page to post.
Oh, okay.
But this is just taking an idea from a suggestion and going with it.
Yeah, this is a little bit of departure with all the machinery and stuff.
Well, it's more of a, because I draw background stuff. I draw all kinds of things in a number of, like the Stream of Conceit in this book. I drew as wrote and illustrated. You'll see some of those pages on my my website. But that has a fight between a giant robot and UFOs crashing through a city and stomping on a milk truck, and so there's all kinds of business in that. But this is just wanting to draw some. It's facilitative for the page, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the suggestion is that worked out okay. That's
it. Oh, and there he is in a hospital bed. Is that what's going on?
Give it a thumbs up. It's got his thumb up.
Worked out. Cat and Pace is here. She says,
"Hi,
hey,
Cat."
The man with the hat and the other man with the hat. Hey, Cat. Cat, but the man is that's from Cat. The man with the hat and the other man with the hat.
So in the process of putting together our book, one of the things that we're doing is that all the people that have given us suggestions, we've got their first name and the letter for their last name.
Okay.
But I realized that I only know parts of people's names and more so know some people specifically from their online name that they use.
Yeah.
So as far as I know, Kat doesn't have a last name unless it's
right. Mrs. Paste.
And I know it's cut and paste is the play on words that she's doing for Catherine, but so she's listed in my book as Cat P right now, and so I have to contact her privately to get her to tell me, hey, what do you actually want to be listed as in the book? Do you want to be Cat P?
Yeah, it'd be funny. It'd be kind of cool, like if I actually
you're in there as Paul P.
Okay, yeah, right, but if Cat is like Jane Johnson, right? You just have a Jane J. Nobody knows who that is, So except for her and you.
For all we know, her name could be Irene Kowalnichuk. Like it's there's no.
Now there's just no way she's going to tell you her name.
No, she's going to be really secretive about it just because she wants to see me publish her name as Cat P.
Yeah.
because it's too good. And normally I wouldn't remark on it, right? But when you look at the initials as you're writing out all these people's names for some that have given suggestions and ideas, and I want to recognize that. But hers is the only one that when you read it aloud, you go, wait a minute, come on. Is he being funny? Because that Christopher guy, he's known for making the yolks.
Yeah, yolks.
Okay, right. Can I read you something?
Of course.
Okay, so I can't tell you too much about this because it's to do with my publisher. Hence the papers. So this is how this is just one piece of like a paragraph of how to describe my work, and that I have an, are you ready? Off the wall, authorial voice.
I gotta let that soak in.
I know.
What?
An off the wall, authorial voice. As an author,
I don't know. I got to think about that. That's like a really heavy sentence, so short, but there's a lot in there. Off the wall, authorial voice. By the way, Cat and Paste says, my name is Christine. My initials spell cat, but you can call me Mrs. or Miss Cat P. Miss Cat. Which I read it. Miss Cat. What do you think of that, Corbin?
I think I'm going to write down Christine T.
I got suckered into that one so bad.
Adding Mrs. to Cat P isn't making it better. Christine.
She got me with that one.
Oh my gosh, she's honestly so funny. So funny. Some of the suggestions that she has given.
Oh, really?
Pages from her, so like the reason that I'll go, oh, work on that one, is because there's so much in those suggestions right off the hop that it's sort of like well, I got to do that page. Let me see if I can find one. Hi, Corbin.
Now they're not talking about your actual voice, right?
What do you mean? No, not my specific voice. My voice as a writer. As a writer, the authorial voice. My voice as an author.
An off the wall.
Off the wall.
Huh.
And the only thing I have to say to that is, Mama say, Makusa. So when one of her suggestions is from the 500 Years From Now series, Kat's suggestion was in 500 years from now, and I did 7 of these, okay?
Oh, wow.
So people would suggest an idea based on in 500 years from now. And Kat's was, scientists will come to discover that rocks are interesting. Or scientists will try to convince people that rocks are interesting. That's Mrs. Cat P's, sorry, Christine. That's Kat's suggestion is scientists will try to convince people that rocks are interesting. So that was a lot of fun to do that page. And again, that's just the first one off the top of my head, but so many fun suggestions. So
that's awesome.
You got to go for those when you get them.
I don't think I've given you any. Have I given you any?
Yeah, you've given me one, and that was the page that has you and Jim and Gary's characters.
Okay, that I don't think I gave you the idea. I was in it though, because man, I don't come up with anything. I'm trying to think of something good, and I'm like, I can't do it. I try. Yeah, it takes me 200 and some pages to come out with my ideas.
It does not take you 200 and some pages. You've got a guy being shoved in the back of a car. That's an idea. A dude holding a wooden stake in a hospital bed. That's an idea. Right?
A guy holding a wooden stake in a hospital. Do I have that in there?
the part where the boss throws him a hospital, or throws him a wooden stake while he's got the handcuff on him.
Oh,
Just,
okay.
I don't know why it's a hospital bed. That's that same scene with the car. But those the book, a 200 and some odd page book, is full of however many ideas you've assembled for all those scenes. However many scenes you have in that book are ideas. Forget about breaking down all the facets of the scenes. Right? Forget about breaking down the arc of a bunch of scenes. I don't come up with ideas. You're chock-a-block full of ideas, fella. Sometimes there's reservation, though, in folks about, I don't know what to tell you. You know, and then there's other people that they can't seem to say, I don't have a lot of rules, but one of my rules is, keep your weird kind of sociological, psychosexual hang-ups to yourself. I don't want to do those. That's your jam.
Well, maybe that's the issue. That's all I can think of.
That's what's holding me back. I get it now. I'm a pervert. Something about my pants. Just do something about my pants. That's easy.
Yeah, there you go. I don't know where that came from. That just started off and it just went too far. Thanks, Adam. I appreciate it. I was kind of nervous about the lighting on this, but I wanted it to look kind of dramatic. So.
Oh, wow. That's really come together. I think.
I like the convincing angle.
Sorry,
of light.
Hold on a second. I'll be right back, Paul.
Okay, no problem. I like the convincing angle of light beams on your street lights the other day. Thanks. Yeah, I don't know where the light's coming from in this panel, but I wanted it to be, sort of a dramatic thing where he's standing out here on the street all by himself. Oh crap! And I gotta put the lines in the street. So let me go find the color for the lines. Because I can never remember what they're supposed to be. It's that right there. No. Hey. I guess I'm just going to have to read it.
Well. Sorry, I got called up. Lori, I had to lock Corbin in here because he sits outside of her bedroom door and caterwauls for as long as he possibly can. And so I, trying to let Lori sleep, so I lock him in the studio with me to harass me for a while.
Yeah, I gotcha.
But Lori's up now, but she tries to come in my studio, and I've got a wedge in the door, I got a door stop that just says a word stop.
Mm-hmm.
There's numerous door stops in my house that are the word stop. And just because I see something like that, I think it's funny and I'll pick them up. But so she's trying to open my studio door and the door's wedged shut. And it's like, what's going on? What's that guy up to in there?
So Corbin's a girl.
Corbin's a boy. My wife's a girl.
Oh, your wife's trying to get in.
My wife's trying to get in and she can't get through the door because I got this wedge in there. What's he up to in there? Who's he talking to? What's he building in there?
There we go. Now I think I'm good.
That's really powerful.
I think that's the page. Now I just got to put the lettering in.
Oh, the lettering, the words.
Yeah.
One of the funniest jokes that sticks in my head when it comes to writing is from Roxanne with Steve Martin years ago.
Uh-huh.
I
don't think I ever saw that movie.
It's so funny. And it's Cyrano de Bergerac in a modern setting. Do you know Cyrano de Bergerac?
No.
The ultimate man, the bon vivant.
That's the one where he's got that big nose, right?
He's got a big nose. And so he's in love with this woman that has come to town.
Okay.
And or Madrid in the original. But and he's trying to win her heart, but of course he has that prominent proboscis, right?
Right.
And so she's actually got interest in another person. And in the case of the Steve Martin movie, he's a firefighter. So the guy comes up to Steve Martin and says, "Listen, I need you to help me, win over Roxanne, because she's smart and I'm not, and you're very smart. Maybe you can help me figure out a way to get her to pay attention to me." And so Steve Martin is trying to suggest to him words from a hedge. He's whispering stuff like poetic, courses to try to get him to win her heart. And so here's this dopey fireman standing, a young man standing because they're all firemen, but this dopey young man standing below her window, and Steve Martin hiding in the bushes, saying, "Roxanne, I don't have the words." And he goes, "What?" And he goes, "The words." He goes, "Roxanne, I don't have worms." But so I always like to
the worms. I got you.
Ever since then, I always misconstrue the word words for worms purposely. So
I haven't seen that movie.
It's really good.
Adam says, he has subscriptions to those magazines. I think maybe he was talking about when you were talking, or he's referring to when you were talking about the weird hang-ups that people have.
Oh, is that right?
I'm guessing. I don't know.
Well, listen, hey. I gotta take off. I gotta get going on with my day here, and this panel's almost done anyway. So
okay, cool. Hey, real quick before you go, the other day we were talking about movies that didn't get enough credit.
Yeah.
And, everybody loves Gladiator, and
I don't.
You don't? Oh my gosh, I do.
I can't stand Joaquin Phoenix. He takes me out of it. Certain actors take me out of films. Can't stand Tom Cruise.
Gotcha.
Can't stand Will Smith. Can't stand Joaquin Phoenix. Yeah, I can't stand daguerreotypes. I can't stand actors that they try to portray a persona, but they're so rooted in them. Like, as much as I make fun with Christopher Walken and do Chris Walken impressions, I'm terrified of him being in the second Dune movie because he's Chris Walken.
Right.
Paul Atreides, bring him to me.
That's great.
Well,
what about
yeah.
So you don't like Gladiator? What about Braveheart? You like Braveheart?
Oh yeah, but see, again, I'm a big Ridley Scott fan, so the Gladiator thing's hard for me. But anyways, I do like Braveheart. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I love both of those movies, but just as good as those was Rob Roy. Have you seen Rob Roy?
Rob Roy's great. Rob Roy is absolutely fantastic. That whole sword fighting scene in Rob Roy between Liam Neeson and Tim Roth.
Yeah, Tim Roth's character is so bad.
The fencing blade bastard. What a guy.
Yeah.
There's certain things that are just quality pieces that, like you say, don't get enough recognition.
Yeah, that was one.
Yeah,
anyway,
that was one.
Adam was referring to your Tom Waits reference, which I guess I didn't catch.
Did he catch that?
Yeah, he says, "What's
building in there?" He got that. Wow, good, nice, okay.
What's he building in
there? It's awful when Waits. I like Waits a lot.
Yeah, I don't. I have no. I couldn't. He could be jamming in my basement, and I wouldn't know.
Seriously, look up some Tom Waits.
Okay.
He has such wonderful lines like, "How do the angels get to sleep when the devil leaves his porch light on?" That's just great. Don't you know there ain't no demons? That's only God when he's drunk. All right. Wow. I got to take off. Thanks for having me on. Again, Paul, I really, really appreciate and enjoy your work. And I always look forward to seeing more of it.
Thanks.
And, man, I'm really compelled to see that. But I think that in light of what you just brought up again, I think that your work needs to be more recognized. Paul, there's a great deal of people that get into making comics and have these associations of oh, I'm going to make it, or I'm going to be this guy, or I am this guy, or I'm going to do this thing. And it's important to fuel creative fire to look at yourself in a more positive state. But you do have a real output, and you do have a real ability. So more people, I really firmly attest the fact that more people really do need to see it.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks.
I don't know how to go about helping to do that other than telling anybody I know, hey, these 2 books. It's got to say something to you that they're on my desk.
Yeah, it does. Like I said, it means a whole lot. I've got yours sitting right back here. So
yours is in the corner under a box that's with some wet mops on top of it.
These are my quick access. So
yeah,
I really appreciate that. Adam said to have a good one. Your art is looking great.
Oh, thank you very much, Adam. You have a good one as well. Okay, I'm out. Thanks a lot for having me on, and have a great day, sir.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Thanks so much. Talk to you later.
Bye for now. Bye.
All right. Oh, it's just me again, folks. Oh, that was really fun. Nice to see Chris. Adam, you're welcome to jump on too. I'm sorry if I didn't say that earlier, but I can't believe you're still up. I post the link because anybody actually is welcome to jump on. I don't know how dangerous that is, because I could get some creepy weirdos or something. But yeah, so far so good. Everybody's been friendly. See if I can find my page again here. All right, so they're gone. I lost them. So I gotta put. What am I doing here? I don't even. Kind of spacing out. Edit, copy. Go back to this page. Edit, paste. Okay. There. They were gone. I had lost them. There we go. That's how that goes. He was going to say something else, though, too. He was going to say, oh, man. $75. No. Wait. 75 right here. Oh, they covered their tracks pretty damn good. There's only some blood left on the bridge. Edit. Paste. Oh, hey, Adam. Great. Hey, Adam.
Hey.
How you doing?
How's it going?
Good. Yeah. Sorry to mention it earlier. Or I don't know if you're always invited. So that's kind of why I have
was
you.
just getting up anyways.
What's that?
I was just waking up.
Oh, so you did get some sleep. Good.
A little bit, yeah.
Good. Yeah, I went to sleep a little bit, but not much after we chatted this, like what would have been, last night for you. But
yeah,
it was just kind of like the middle of the night for me. My wife is out of town and I'm just a disaster when she's not here. Like, I don't even know what to do. I'm just, it's kind of funny. But anyway, So yeah, I just fell asleep on the couch and yeah. But yeah, well, good. I'm glad you got some rest. How's it going? What are you up to today?
I'm not sure.
No, it was funny because Chris went and I kind of went and when we were talking, he went into the same spiel that I was kind of giving you last week. Like, I know if you got an idea, sometimes you just got to work on it. Work on a page and then get it out there. And I was like, oh, that's not what that's not what Adam's doing. So
Oh,
or
I've
you're
been working on pages actually, but I
right,
just
but not you're working on them more in the background instead of just putting a page out.
yeah.
Yeah, putting a page out, kind of like I'm doing. But
Yeah.
but that was a good conversation that we had last week. I thought it was good because anytime I just for me, I like listening to people and hearing, and I don't think it's people. I have a hard time listening, so I felt like I was off base with what I was saying to you last week, and then I was able to listen to what you were saying, and it was just kind of cool to be able to like, for one, rare occasion in life where we hear what somebody's saying. Does that make any sense?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think I don't know, it's been a common thing where if you say you're kind of in the process of working on something, but it's still in development. You're still working
Hmm.
out story problems or things like that, or
Yeah.
revising or editing or
Right.
doing a new draft or something like that. Oftentimes that's seen as just not actually doing anything,
Right.
or literally just sitting around with sitting around thinking about it. That's what people say all the
Yeah, talking about it and not
You're
doing
thinking
about it.
about it. It's like there's a really big difference between I'm not saying I'm just thinking about this story. I literally
Right.
have I have an entire case of like notebooks filled with what I've been
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
different drafts I've been revising and the art and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. You're taking action. You're moving forward on it and
And
everything.
really, if I had started drawing finished pages of it, which I have done like versions of at times just to kind of see what they would be. But if I had started doing that, it would have been a disaster because I realized so late in the game that, this book needs to be moved over here. And I'm not even going to draw it all out as a graphic novel probably at this point and things like that. It just wouldn't
Yeah.
have been,
Oh,
use,
yeah.
a good use of my time.
Right.
And
No,
meanwhile, I'm working on, other comics and
yeah.
recording 50 demo albums and like,
Yeah. Yeah.
geez. It's funny to like, I get the two extremes of like, oh, you just sit around, you don't do anything, or like all you ever do is waste your time on these projects. It's like, well, you can't tell me both. I'm either not doing anything or you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, but I don't know. It's sort of I think that approach doesn't work for everyone. For me, it's what I've wanted to do is like we were talking about last time, like with Toad Road Comics, I want it to be the right version of something that I go back and if it has some major error, I want to kind of come back and do the definitive version of it. That's just what I want. I'd rather have a small collection of my favorite best material
Hmm.
than just a whole bunch of filler content that
Right.
is not as good or that sort of thing.
Right.
And that's just what, I decided I wanted to do with it.
Right.
And I think it's, everyone has kind of their own way that they go about it. But
Gotcha.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
get bummed out, honestly. Like I get so discouraged when people, I don't know. I feel like people just want to like put you down no matter what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, I do
Except,
think part of it is, um, like I said, I think people we don't listen very well, first of all, and then we don't realize how what we're saying comes across as a put down sometimes. Like we don't mean to be a put down, but sometimes it is kind of rude. Like just anytime you're like, hey man, this is what you need to do. Do this, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, don't be such a perfectionist. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's all put downs. The entire
Yeah.
every YouTube video is a put down basically of anything you go like look up art advice or writing advice. It's like
Yeah.
it's just and
Yeah.
a
Any
variety.
kind of advice really is, man, I mean, I catch myself giving advice all the time, and it's usually so cringe, especially like you look back on it later in life and you're like, oh my gosh, what am I saying? Just, just
Advice is good. I think you do often see like people that are at kind of a lower position, like giving this like authoritative advice of the only one way it can be when they haven't even like published a comic or something. I feel like
yeah, yeah,
it's like
yeah,
that. But
yeah,
I don't know. I think that um the general advice probably works for most people is why you end up hearing so much of the same stuff over and over again, no matter how ridiculous it is in
Hmm.
certain situations.
Yeah,
But I don't know. I always thought that to be an artist was to kind of be independent minded, and creative and not just kind of think the same way as everybody.
for sure. Yeah, I think so.
I, I don't know though. I'm surprised that a lot of artists do have a very similar mindset.
Yeah, yeah. I guess there's artists, just variety of people in the art community, just like there is in any community. Some of them have open minds, and some of them not so open.
Yeah, like I've been studying a lot of writing, like I mentioned last
Mhm.
time,
Right,
and there's so much advice that's just like these hard rules,
right.
literally to a point where it's like if you get um these programs that like help you edit and things like that, it's like programmed into it to like look for certain things where you're using adverbs or something like you're like
Mhm.
adverbs, for example, are outlawed in writing. Like you're supposed to like literally go and take out all adverbs, I guess.
Really?
Which I like adverbs, but there's just certain types of ways of wording things that are the general advice is that you go through and you find these words and you cut it out. You just literally, if you find the word, get rid of it.
Right.
Things like that. It's like, wow,
Oh yeah.
that's
Huh.
interesting. I feel like
I
that's the opposite of creativity. That's just like,
Yeah. I I took a writing class actually once when the pandemic started.
oh yeah,
Yeah, and it was really fun. I really enjoyed it. Um, it was just an online course, and I went through the whole thing.
that's
And
cool.
yeah, and I hope I think it really helped me. And I learned a lot and I didn't take much of it. I didn't get that feeling of like um, where it was helping my creativity. I think there was just like a lot of basics that I didn't get and that it gave me. I feel like so I enjoyed it. It was cool. It was a good experience for me.
That's
So
awesome. Well, you had mentioned Brandon Sanderson last time.
yeah.
I love his like lecture series that he has and stuff like. I've been rewatching a lot of those.
Oh really? Is it on YouTube?
Oh yeah, he's got a bunch of like um just his classes are just they're filmed and they put them on YouTube.
Oh, okay. I'll have to
Great.
check that out. Yeah. Yeah.
I can't
He's
really
great.
care for Brandon Sanderson's writing, mostly just because it's so long and it's like so much content, like to so many characters to keep track of and stuff. But I love his
I
writing.
don't think I've actually read any of his books. What's he famous for, his books?
Um, Elantris, the Stormlight Archives, um, Way of Kings, I think is one of the books. It's the he has a name for his whole like kind of universe.
Hmm.
Cosmere, I think. He's big on like magic systems. He talks about a lot.
Okay.
But I don't know. I'd like to get to a point where I get into it because it sounds really interesting, but a Brandon Sanderson audiobook is like 28 hours long or so.
That's wild. My son, he's 21, he loves Brandon Sanderson. He's a big reader. Yeah, he
I think
loves.
Corey is really into his stuff too. He had mentioned a couple times.
Oh, really? Really? Okay. Well, that's awesome. Yeah, maybe I
His
should.
lectures
Yeah.
are great though. Like he does some of the stuff I'm complaining about to an extent, but for the most part, he usually will kind of he won't. He does half the time. He gives this kind of dogmatic advice, but a lot of times he just kind of like says, "Well, if you want this, you got to do this, and if you do this, you can do it, but you're
Yeah.
probably not going to be able to make a living doing this. If you want to make
Yeah.
a living, you got to do this."
Yeah, you need to be able to, take it with a grain of salt too. There people's
I
advice.
think anytime someone puts something in terms of like a disease, though, like, oh, if you do this, you have a disease. You have a writing disease. I don't know. It's a little bit discouraging.
That's hilarious.
World builders disease, they call it. If you spend any kind of in-depth time world building, it's called a disease.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Well, embrace your disease then. I've been looking forward to um, this page right here, this one panel page.
Yep.
The bad guys all got away, and here he's left, on the bridge all by himself.
Nice. The lighting is interesting on that. Like I was saying, I like the way you had the streetlights like coming out at specific angles like that. I rarely ever see people put that in, because I pay attention to that a lot. Like I'm like fascinated by the angles and colors of like light beams when you see street lights and stars, and
Yeah.
like they come off at these very specific angles with very specific colors and stuff, and it's a whole like theory to it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well,
But
if I got it at all, it was pretty much by chance, by luck, because I haven't studied it very much at all.
Well, I think you intuitively put in like what light really looks like, which is that aspect, like the beams of light coming out at these right angles and diagonal angles and stuff. That part of it is often ignored or overlooked, or it's like seen as like an effect or something.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, this I'm not like. I just in this page, I don't really have any lights showing, but I just wanted there to be light from the top, coming down. I don't know if I got it or not, but maybe I should put some shadows on by the edge of the road. That's what I was thinking about doing. It was like going here, and where's this? What do I got here? And I was thinking about doing this. It was like kind of like that, just to give it, some more shadows. Actually, it doesn't look bad, actually. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it looks good.
Who knows? I think at this point, you get the idea.
What page are you on now?
75.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I didn't get much work done this week. I wanted to be further along, but I just wasn't feeling it,
Did you still get like a couple pages at least? Huh?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think I might have. Maybe I streamed on Sunday last week too. So I don't know. I think I was working on this page last week. Oh no, I was working on page 73 last week. That's right. Remember this?
Yeah.
Wasn't I working on this one last week?
I think that's the last one I saw.
Yeah, that was 73. So during the week I got one done.
After that.
What's that?
Unless you posted something after that on Instagram.
Yeah. No, I think then I got this one done during the week.
Okay, yeah, that's the one I was thinking of too.
And then now I'm on this one. So but you know, like 1 or 2 a week is not gonna it's gonna take forever. So, oh hey Dee Dee. Dee Dee's stopping by to give a thumbs up. Oh thanks, Dee Dee. How are you? Like the falling guy. Yeah, I do too. That's a fun one. Yeah, I like all this action and drama coming up to this page. And then got a one panel page that's just, you know, I wanted to be this like dramatic scene, you know. So that's what I was going for. Yes, Dee Dee says. What are you up to today, Dee Dee? Yeah, so anyway, I want to get more than 1 or 2 pages done a week, Adam.
Yeah.
I don't want to be working on this thing
That's
forever.
I mean, still, like, I feel like you've been making a lot of progress.
Yeah, it feels like it too. You know, I think it's been 6 months. So this thing, I was hoping to get it done in a year. It might turn into like 18 months. But
See, when I start to get to that point, I either get like, I just want to get away from the project, or I get like motivated. Like I'm kind of oftentimes my productivity is fueled by impatience. So it's like,
yes,
if
yeah,
it's like it's going to take 18 months, how can I just go on a binge and get this done in 1 month? You know, and I'll
right.
do what it takes. Like I would rather just do all of it and just work intensely to get it over with, because I can't stand the impatience of it. But then otherwise it's like, yeah, it's just, I don't know, 18 months is, I think, maybe too much.
Didi says, I got all my errands done in this school supply season. I get sucked into school supplies.
Oh, nice.
Schools, what do you, I don't understand. Get sucked into, it's school supply season. You go out and buy school supplies, Didi, or do you know what she means by this, Adam?
I'm guessing she means since school supplies are on sale, she'll go and get like art supplies in the
Gotcha.
school. So, and just, you know, office things and things.
I could totally identify that with that. I love going to the art store, man, and just walking around with pens, markers. Yep. Yeah. Just walking around and checking stuff out. I don't even want to buy it. I just want to look at it, you know. If I take my kids, because my daughters are artists, and so they like going to Michael's, you know.
Mm.
And yeah, looking at all the paint and the pens and all the markers. I think markers are my favorite thing, like the brush pens and different kinds of pens. But I don't even use them anymore. That's the bad part about having going, you know, just doing digital.
Yeah.
I kind of miss that. But all that stuff is super expensive too. So, do you like going to the art store, Adam?
Well, you know, there used to be an art store that's right down the street from my house, and it went out of business about a year or two ago. Maybe longer now, actually. So it's not as easily accessible to just go and get stuff. So a lot of times I'm just ordering online.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, one of my favorite things about the art store is just the way it smells.
Oh,
And
yeah.
and I don't have a sense of smell anymore, so that kind of takes the punch out of it. But
Yeah. So do you have an estimate of, like, from start to finish, how long it has taken or will take to complete what? And you're doing what, a 200-page book or something like that?
Yeah. Yeah. 18 months.
18 months would be the from start to finish for the whole thing.
Yeah. Right. Including writing,
Oh, okay. That's
drawing.
actually pretty good. I mean, that seems pretty fast.
Yeah. I mean,
18 months. So that's what, a year and a half, right?
yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's good.
Oh, thanks. Dee Dee's a book sniffer. She sniffs magazines and the.
I don't know if I'm having allergies or something. I just, I don't know. I'm feeling a little, I don't think I'm like sick, but I'm feeling a little congested or something.
What's the weather like there?
It's been pretty hot. Kind of too hot to go out and do anything for the most part.
Yeah, it's been pretty scorchy here. I went to California a couple weeks ago,
Oh, yeah.
and it was like 70 there. It was beautiful.
Oh, nice.
And then I come back here and it's 90. I'm like, way up north, like this doesn't make any sense.
Interesting.
And then when I got back, we had the smoke from the Canadian.
Wait, you're over in Michigan, is it?
Yeah, Michigan was getting a bunch of smoke from the Canadian wildfires.
Okay, yeah.
That was weird, man.
Yeah, we were getting some of that too.
You were?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Or I don't know if it was the same ones, but we had been having some smoke from Canadian, specifically wildfires.
Yeah, that was wild.
But yeah, you would think if you went from Michigan over to California, you would expect a heat increase, right? Not a decrease.
Yeah, no. California is just ridiculous. It's like perfect weather all the time, especially right on the coast,
Yeah.
I think inside, more closer or inland, it's probably warmer, but we were just right on the coast, and man,
That's awesome. You went and met with some fellow artists.
Yeah, Jim and Josh.
Okay, yeah.
And then I met Chris Kawagiwa. Do you know Chris?
I don't really know him, but I've just I know of him from him being mentioned by other artists.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And then Jim and Josh, and then Jim has a friend, Charlie Rossman.
Nice.
Who does the bunch of voices in his cartoons, and he's there, and that guy's hilarious. So he was there too. So I got to meet him. So it was a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, we just hung out for a day and shot the shit. So it was cool. And my brother and I met there too. My brother lives in Las Vegas, so him and I were talking, and we were just like, let's go to the beach in California. That'd be the coolest spot to meet up.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, let's do it. So it was pretty fun. It was real nice. But
so out of your 18-month process, like how much of that is kind of figuring out your story and scripting and things like that versus like getting that first, when you have a finished penciled and toned like first page?
I think it took me about 2 months to write.
Wow.
2 months to write the script, and the script is here.
That's really good.
So this is it. I mean, it's just like this, You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just frame one. Here's what happened. Climbing over the wall. Everyone clearing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just, everything's written out though. I don't follow it, exactly, but I stay pretty much close to it. Or I pretty much stay right on it. But like there was one scene where I just decided, I knew I was going to want to change this one scene, so I added like 5 or 6 pages in there. That's why the page numbers are out of sequence, because when I originally wrote it, this was page 66. but now it's page 75 because I added a bunch. So this one will be page 76. So yeah, but
That's cool, man. That's good progress.
yeah, thanks. But how about you? How's yours coming along? I mean, so you're just still world building, writing notes.
No, I've been drafting the final
Oh,
versions. Well, probably at this stage of first draft because I don't know. Like I'm learning the process of writing prose, like for the first time. But I'm getting in there and writing it
yeah,
out. I mean, this will be like I don't know. I've done it so many times as starting with an outline and it has something kind of like that, but with just like a more of a description and some examples of dialogue that aren't like refined and stuff. But I've kind of moved my story around so many times where it's like sitting down from start to finish and just doing like a in detail like draft
right.
just hasn't been a very practical decision a lot of times because I'm still kind of working out it's 12 books, so it's figuring out what could be moved around and things like that, and just I don't know, you can't really do that at the drafting stage of like doing an actual like finished draft of all the dialogue and everything. I mean, I guess you could, but it's just crazy. But yeah, I don't know. I really got to figure out the format of it, and I'm just kind of seeing how it's coming out and how long it's going to be. Because I don't want to do
Right.
like a full size novel. Like I don't even want to read a novel. Writing it and reading, you got to kind of reread your work over and over again. It's like
Oh yeah,
be able
yeah,
to
for
reread
sure.
a novel even twice probably for this project with my attention span.
Yeah,
Figure out a way around that. That's one of
yeah,
the hardest things about writing is like I really just have a difficult time focusing and reading from start to finish like a whole book.
hmm right. And then let alone you're going to write one, and then you have to read what you wrote. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. No, I understand,
But
100%.
I've been working on the first chapter especially and just kind of getting it as a good sense of what the whole thing is going to be and trying to get the wording good and edit out the unnecessary parts and stuff like that on the
Yeah,
actual kind of word by word level.
right, right.
I'm excited about it. It's like
Well, that's good.
it could go quite a bit faster than I thought, depending on how
Right,
long it
right.
takes to do the artwork.
Yeah, that's good. Being excited about it, I think, is half the battle.
Yeah. Well, I get excited and then until I like go back out into reality.
And then you do some work, and you're like, "Oh my God, this is going to take so much work."
I enjoy it though.
That's good.
Like that, like honestly, like the writing and the creating and the world building and the all the concept art. That's the stuff I love the most. Like developing that and even stuff like it's like I have this idea. Well, what if I take this character? What if I move this part of the story to the sequel era instead, and then it'll just get right to the point of this part. I get so stoked and excited when I make decisions like that, and I go and it like reinvigorates the project, and I go and it's like, oh, okay, and then it just goes bam, 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 and then
Yeah.
like I try to find ways to streamline it like that, and
Mhm.
that to me is very exhilarating. Like I just really enjoy doing that,
Yeah.
and I've worked on it for so long that it's like at least for what I'm trying to achieve for my tastes personally of what I personally want out of a story, it's to a level where it's like so just right where it's like it started from like a disaster of just I had no idea how I would figure out anything that was cool
Yeah.
to I really like where it is now.
Cool. Wait, hey, what do you think of this idea of the fact that a lot of writers get to be like, I don't know how old you are, but around the age of like, say, 40, I'm going to say 40, 50. and they write their first novel at that age,
Yeah.
you know, do you think that it might be a point of like in your life you're ready to write, you know, you're finally ready to put these ideas together. You've got enough sort of, I don't know what it is that we need as people, you know, but what do you think of that? Do you think that applies to
Well,
you at all?
part of it is the way I had planned out some of these projects. It was like an order of I want to do these kind of simpler, cartoony, fun humor comics first,
Right.
and build my way towards the kind of final version of these bigger, more writing based, sci-fi, fantasy, adventure, epic, saga type things.
Yeah.
And until the other day, I wasn't planning on writing it as the primary way of doing it. But I had
Mhm.
planned, if I ever got to a point where I finished this saga, if I still had time, that is like I was guessing probably at that point I wouldn't want to keep doing graphic novels and taking 6 years to do one book. So I
Right.
had kind of been anticipating to eventually get to a stage where I was mostly writing and not
Mhm.
relying on comics as the thing. And I just didn't anticipate that it would be this early in my life and for these projects. But
Okay.
now that I've kind of gotten to that point, it's like, okay, it all make to me, it all just makes sense. Like it
Right.
fit.
You had that eureka moment, like, oh, why don't I just jump right to the writing and take all this weight off my shoulders?
Well, it's like learning. It's a whole like identity crisis too. It's like I'm not a fucking writer. What am I talking about? But I'm a writer. Like instead of like
Right.
I happen to also do writing in addition to this other stuff. Like it has to be more. I don't know though. That's what's interesting. I don't think I'm. I think I've mentioned this multiple times, but it's like I'm not a natural writer.
Yeah, but
So
that's okay. Yeah, that's fine. That might be, might be an advantage, because you'll have a
maybe,
fresh.
maybe for some people, yeah. That I am in a way. It's like this book probably won't appeal to most readers' expectations, but I think for some people that maybe don't get in, like okay, I'll give you an example real quick. I was watching like behind the scenes of Lord of the Rings, the
Mhm.
making of the Lord of the Rings movies, and
Sure.
so many people on that crew they're talking about how I intended to like we love Lord of the Rings. I intended to read that book. We love it, but in other words, a bunch of the people making that movie did not read the book.
Right. Right.
I think that that's common. That it's like like the movie comes out and people are interested in the content of the movie adaptation of something, but and they kind of would have liked to have read the book, but
Oh, yeah.
it's difficult to get into, for a lot
Sure.
of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
No.
anyway, I might be able to write something that kind of is for that person that intended to read Lord of the Rings, but did not actually
Yeah.
get
I
in.
mean, I can't read. Like, I've tried to read Lord of the Rings. I tried to read Harry Potter. I
Mhm.
read one Harry Potter book. Just was like, I don't get it. It was, and then these ones like the Lord of the Rings, or I read one of the Game of Thrones. I really enjoyed the Game of Thrones,
Yeah,
the book that I read, but it was just too much for me,
yeah, yeah,
because I'm a pretty slow reader as well. But like these crime novels, that I like,
yeah.
these sort of crime noir, hard boiled detective novels, they're usually shorter, and
Mhm.
they got the sentence. I'll just be honest, the sentences are shorter, the words are simpler,
Right.
and I'm like, I read them and enjoy them, it's for me, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. So that's what I mean. So maybe you're one of the people out there that would maybe prefer something that's a little faster paced and shorter, and it's a lot of stuff that happens. It's a Star Wars trilogy worth of stuff that happens. It's
Mhm.
just not, uh, you're reading 300 pages until they finally get to the next destination, and it's like boom,
Right.
boom, boom. That's what I want
Yeah,
it to be.
yeah.
I want to have real conversations and action scenes, but I don't want it to draw out to where it just
Mhm.
like if it was an audiobook, like the idea of reading these like 20-hour, listen to a 20-hour audiobook or these like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I want to listen to like a 2 to maybe 6 at the most hour audiobook if it gets beyond that, it just becomes a lot to try to process for me.
Yeah, yeah. I just like it when people read. That's what Dee Dee said. That's interesting. You like it when people read. So yeah, so it doesn't matter if you're reading. Yeah, I mean, like my wife's a super good reader. She can read long books, and she'll just sit down and read a whole book in a day. Like, man, I can't do that. I can read for an hour tops.
Oh, really? Well, I can do that, but I can't do that for fiction. Like nonfiction, if I'm really interested in like reading about math and science and stuff like that,
Uh-huh.
cosmology and particle physics and geometry and stuff. I can read 2 math books or science books in a day. Like if I'm intensely interested in a topic or
Right.
dinosaurs, I'm like reading about geology and dinosaurs or something. It's like boom, I'll just get through it.
Okay, this confirms it. Dee Dee, do you think Adam's insane? He's reading math books and science books. That's awesome. Wow. Yeah.
A book on like infinity or
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
universe or things like that. Like if I get into but I don't get that with reading fiction usually, because it's like I don't have these like, oh, I'm like I have information I want to know. And most fiction is written the opposite of nonfiction in that the last thing they want to do is directly give you information. They want to hint at information and have you sort of figure it out as you're going, and it's kind of snuck in there. And it's like, oh my gosh, that's why I love nonfiction. They just straight up say, this is the information, this is what it is, and they just tell you what it is. Like it's not like a mystery game of like trying to guess and figure all this crap out and keep track of all this stuff. It's like they point things out to you.
Okay, I got you. I see what
That
you're
makes
saying. Wow. Yeah, that's cool. That's interesting. One of my favorite authors is Walter Mosley, and he's written a bunch of like hard-boiled detective stories and stuff, but he's also written a few nonfiction books and a couple of them about writing, and I haven't read any of them, but I heard him talking one time, and he said writing nonfiction is easier than writing fiction because fiction has to be more truthful because you got to make it in order for it to be believable. It's got to be truthful. That was just an interesting thing to say. I thought. I'm not sure what to think of it, but it's kind of the opposite of what you're saying. But what do you think of that?
I don't know if I understand the intended meaning of that.
Yeah, I don't know if I do either. It's just what you were saying reminded me of it that he said it, but I think what you're saying is kind of the opposite. Like you just enjoy the nonfiction because it's super straightforward and truthful, and you just get the information.
Well, and it's like if you have a subject that you want, like say that I want to learn about the universe and how galaxies work and stuff. It's like, yeah, you're getting the information, you're learning about it.
Right.
And it's not like a textbook or something. I don't know. I before I had actually read like if you go and buy a book that's like about particle physics or whatever topic you're interested in, it's a lot different than like taking a course in it or something. Like the way these books are written.
Really?
And it wasn't until I started reading books like that, like the way it's explained, I just really enjoy it.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff that like I had no interest in at all, like in school, especially math and science stuff. A lot of that I really got into after I finished school, because it was like I would just discover it, go to the library and find some book, and the way like a popular science book is written, like a Carl Sagan book or like Neil deGrasse Tyson or something.
Right.
I just really enjoy
Yeah, that's cool.
learning that
That's
way.
wild, man.
And
See,
all
I can't say that. First of all, I didn't grow up reading much at all growing up. I was not a reader. And then in college, I took a few classes that really turned me on to reading. But like One of them was a book, the Malcolm X biography was
Oh
one
yeah.
of the first ones. Yeah, that really, and that was a biography, so that wasn't really fiction. Um,
Right.
but then a little bit later, towards the end of college, I started reading fiction and really getting into it,
Mhm.
and that's when I kind of got turned on to reading. One of them was Frankenstein. That was really good. Um,
Oh, nice.
and I had a teacher too who she was really good um, in terms of like just kind of her enthusiasm for it. You know,
Yeah.
helped me realize my own enthusiasm for it. But then, so as I began to read, yeah, of course, like Dee Dee was saying, she grew up reading sci-fi. Now, if I read sci-fi, it's just, I love it. It's awesome. But for me to learn about something, it's easier. It's easier for me to read fiction than it would be nonfiction because, I can just be interested in it
Yeah.
more. It's just,
Well, this is something too that I learned. Let's say I'm interested in, I want to learn about particle physics, right?
uh-huh.
The first book I read on particle physics, I'm gonna have to kind of focus and pay attention. I might have to reread passages, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if I go read another book on the same subject, I can read it twice as fast
Right.
because
Yeah,
I
that
can
makes
anticipate what it's about to tell me. If I read 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 20 or 30 books on particle physics, you can get to a point where you just speed reading through it because you know everything they're saying. You're just kind
right.
of finding what a different author kind of has added to it. You can get to a point where you can just speed right through it. I've never been able to do that with fiction because I don't know how to I don't know how to speed read through fiction. I don't know how to
Right. And I don't think that's the point of fiction, right?
well, I think that
Mhm.
a lot of people who just really devour, book after book of fiction, it's like they latch onto these key questions that they're asking, and they're kind of zooming through it, trying to answer, oh, what's going to happen next? What is this going to happen? What's the character doing this?
Oh,
And it's
okay.
like it doesn't grab me, and it doesn't pull me through the same way.
Yeah, that's what it does to me. That's a good description. It pulls me through. Yeah, for sure. That's interesting.
Like I only can remember having that for reading the novelization of the new Star Wars movie before it came out. I was like, I wanted to know so badly what was in the new episode
Uh,
devoured the book, and it pulled me through because I was fascinated to find out about what the movie is going to be. But that's about it.
yeah. Dee Dee said it's not the point to speed read fiction, even though I do read fast. Yeah, some fiction, I mean, like, I wish I could read faster because um, I feel like I would enjoy it more if I could read faster. And I'll go through phases too where I'll read a lot and I'll get faster,
Mm.
you know. But I haven't read much lately. And so for me to sit down and start reading, I gotta get like the gears going again, you know what I mean? Like the shake off the rust
Yeah, yeah,
and
definitely.
but I
When
can't
I
say
was
I've
reading a lot,
read.
I found that when I was reading fast, I seemed to comprehend better. Actually, there's a limit where it's like if you read too fast, you're not making sense of what's happening. But
Yeah,
I started to speed up in reading. It's like I actually was processing the information better than
yeah,
reading too slowly can be just as hard to process, I think. And that's
right.
why I usually feel like when I'm reading fiction, it's like I feel like I'm just reading so slow and I'm really focused on just making sense of what is even going on, and I'm not losing myself in it. So with
Oh,
all those problems, it makes that is why I have been reluctant to embrace writing fiction as a choice for my stuff because of all these.
yeah, yeah, I got you. Yeah, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, it's you feel almost like conflicted or something. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like how can you expect somebody to enjoy this when you don't even enjoy the same thing of other people, right?
Right. So that's kind of the risk. It's like, okay,
Yeah. Well, but like you
like
said, you're gonna make it. try to make it like what you would enjoy.
Well, to an extent, I got to meet the audience more than halfway, because if I may eventually do a book where it's just me indulging in how I would want a book to be written, and it would be more like just straight up telling the history like an encyclopedia, most of it. But almost everyone hates that.
Oh, okay. Well, I think you should, my advice, which I hope you don't listen to what I'm telling you, but which is, don't take this for shit. But I think you should write what you would like to read, and trust your gut on that. Because
for this project, I was at earlier stages kind of going for that, and then I realized, like, no, I should there's another kind of prequel era book that like like it would be like a prequel trilogy or something that I might just go all out and write, like in the manner in which I would want to read it. For this, in the way it's been developed for so long, it's like I'm trying to write for a general audience. I'm trying to make something that's very accessible,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I definitely want to eventually do something where it's like, just this is if it was just me on an island, and if it was only me reading this, or other people, like-minded people, this is how I would write it. But I think a lot of people would really just not even look at it, because
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, maybe like I think Chris was talking about this earlier. Like my comic doesn't really fit the mold of comics, and I didn't really want it to. And then, I don't think many people go to read a crime noir comic book, but I feel like that whoever does read my book, I hope they think it's a good story, so I don't know. Dee Dee's laughing at me because I'm saying don't listen. We were talking earlier, Dee Dee, about how a lot of people give advice, but I think we don't spend enough time listening. That's why I was kind of saying that. Yeah, not everyone will like what you write, is what she's saying, which is true. But I get what you're saying, though. Meet the audience halfway. I like that. I like that. That seems fair. That seems fair.
Do you know what the Silmarillion is?
No, what is that?
So, Tolkien, he wrote The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, and then he didn't complete the Silmarillion, but it was like kind of collected and finished by his son, I think.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And it's much more like it reads more like an old text of, like, you were reading Norse mythology or something, it's like the creation of the heavens and all this stuff.
Okay.
And like the ancient history of the elves and
the
War of the Ring and stuff. But it's not written like The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, where it's like a hero's journey and this personal dramatic story, as much as just more like an account. It's like the chronicles of all this stuff. So that is kind of my sample, and a lot of people just won't even like try to read it because it's so like intimidating to them. I love the Silmarillion. Like when I read, I prefer the Silmarillion over Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit.
Dee Dee, can you type it in? Type it in what the name of it? Because it's a complicated name.
Well, yeah, it is a difficult. That's the other thing too. It's like, what even is it? What is a Silmarillion like?
Yeah, and of course, Dee Dee has the collection of it.
Sweet, but that would be an example of as of right now, my goals always change with this, but a book where I just sit down and write it the way I would want to read it. I would do something probably like my equivalent of the Silmarillion. Like I would do the ancient history and just write it like encyclopedic, like literally like you found an ancient text and that's what you're reading, you know, is kind of what I really want to do for at least some of the stuff. But so much like writing advice and writing group feedback, it's like people like a prologue, if you try to do stuff like that, like this ancient sprawling, you know, description of the ancient times, like that's just like the worst way to start your book. If you
Brandon Sanderson's going to tell you you can't do that.
Well, I shouldn't say the worst way, but like the advice given is like most people are really going to have a very limited tolerance for that. So I don't know. It's just learning things like that. Like that's like, and just like things like putting so many proper names and stuff right in the start, like things like that are the things that people really find so inaccessible that they will stop reading, they'll throw it in the garbage, and they will never consider reading anything you ever read again, is the general advice, the general reaction that a lot of people will say. And so much of that stuff, it's like, oh man, that's exactly what I want. I want to know all the proper names up front. I want to know the general context, you know, like to me, that's like just that would be like the perfect way to tell the story, you know?
Yeah. Hey, I want to know if Dee Dee's ever heard of an author called Ed McBain. Have you heard of Ed McBain, Adam?
I don't think so.
Okay, yeah, I'd be surprised if you did. He's like a crime noir novelist. Apparently, there's a story. He's got a whole bunch of novels. They're like 200-300-page novels, real quick reads, you know. And he's got a whole bunch of them, like a series, you know, different series too. Like 20 books in this series of books. Is he the spy novelist? I don't think he's written any real like spy novels, but it's mostly like crime, like sort of hard-boiled detective novels. But apparently there's a story of one. There's a story of he was a big drinker. I guess I think he may have died of alcoholism or something. And at one point he was so drunk all the time. He was writing a novel, and halfway through, he changed all the names of the characters, and they ended up publishing it like that. And so, like big fans of his ended up like you could tell what characters were who, you know, based on what they were doing and stuff in the description. You know what I mean, in the story. But halfway through the novel, he changed the names of all the characters.
Just random, like in other words, as he in his writing process, he wanted the names to be different, but he didn't go back and change.
I don't remember how it happened, but like I don't know, I don't think he did it on purpose. Like I think he was just, you know, I don't know, and I didn't read that one. That would piss me off, you know. But I'm sure I couldn't follow through. You know what I mean? If they just changed the name. But I just thought that was kind of a funny story. But yeah, I could see that. Like if you if you introduce a bunch of proper names or whatever in the beginning, that would turn people off. Philip's up.
Hey, Phil.
All in cheap paperbacks. Yeah. I enjoy the cheap paperbacks because, you know, like if they're 200-300 pages, I can get through it. But yeah, I like you're on another level, Adam. That's crazy reading, you know, textbooks and.
Well, that's the thing is like I can do that, but then it's like like you said, like you just try to read Harry Potter just to like read it, and it's like I like certain things that should be easier to do. It's just like no matter how hard I try, I don't think I can get through Harry Potter unless something fundamentally changes in my brain. I've tried to read it like 16 times. Like I start to read it and they start talking about the Dursleys or something. As soon as I hear Dursleys, wherever the fuck it is, it's like my brain like just stops functioning. I get literally like fall asleep or something. Like, how do people do this? I don't know. But it's like I'm interested in it. But it's like, I don't know. I could try to read. Same with like Lord of the Rings. I love Lord of the Rings. But it's like, man, I can't fucking read through it. Like I just puts me in like a coma. Like it's really well written. I think it's probably one of the greatest books like written like that, and it's that type of thing. But I don't know. But I don't know. Lately, I've been trying to like slowly kind of acclimate to trying to get to read more fiction. It's not like a criticism of the writing. It's just something about the way my brain processes
Yeah.
information.
No. Yeah, it seems.
It's like
Yeah.
an ADD thing or I don't know if it's an autism thing or ADD thing or just the way my mind works. I don't know.
No, I think it's fair. I think too. Another thing is just in phases in life, like certain points in life, you're interested in this, and then you exhaust your interest in it, and then you move on to something else.
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely interested.
Yeah.
Just I don't
Yeah.
know. Defective, I guess.
Definitely not defective, man. It's just how you are. Everybody's so different. That's what makes.
I've been reading a ton. I read what I'll do is I'll start to read a sample of something and then I'll get like a stack of 20, 30 different books and I'll start to read it and my brain will turn off and I'll switch to something. It's like, okay, I'm not gonna fucking read the next sentence of Dune. And then I'll just go read this other thing. I'll start trying to read Harry Potter. It's like, okay, I can't fucking read that. Like, and I'll literally like I've been doing that a lot of just like I'm trying to like look at the way authors handle descriptions and things like that.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But it's like I have such a small tolerance for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Philip wants to know how we're sounding so wide awake.
I got a little bit of sleep. Do I sound wide awake?
Hey, you always sound awake. Just the way you talk. And then Dee Dee likes British mysteries. I don't think I've ever. No, I shouldn't say that. I have read some. What's his face? Sherlock Holmes. Those are pretty cool. And then, yeah, that's probably it. And I tried to read this John Le Carre. He's really popular these days, and man, it's so boring. I couldn't do it. I tried to read some Stephen King novels. Have you read any Stephen King novels, Adam?
I mean, no, I've tried to.
Oh man, that's talking
Stephen
about boring.
King is a very meandering author. Like he doesn't really work. He doesn't really edit, and he just like starts writing, and it doesn't have like a planned structure to it. That to me would be even harder than your typical fiction to try to get through. But that'd be an example of like I like Misery, for example, is one of my all-time favorite movies that Stephen King wrote. Like I like his writing. I like his stories, I guess. But
I mean, I watched this series by was based on Stephen King novel called it was called 11/22/63 or whatever. That's the day that Kennedy was assassinated.
Okay.
Great story. It was like a time travel thing and everything. It was wild. I loved it. But, I tried to read a couple of his novels, and just, man, I couldn't make it through. I can't keep up with the chats either here. Sorry, guys. But Dee Dee says she doesn't care for Le Carre. Well, that makes me feel better. Because, his novels it's like a spy novel, but super boring. Dee Dee, my mother loved British. She was an avid reader. And then she stopped reading Stephen King after Cujo. Okay. I don't know what that means. The Stand, wasn't that like super long? I think a friend of mine had that and read it, and he liked Stephen King. And I'm like, man, this is so dry and just, meandering, I don't know. I like the quick hit stuff. But
I suspect that we process it like I kind of expect stuff to get to a point.
Yeah.
It seems like every novel I've ever read in my life, except for maybe like Kurt Vonnegut or something. I actually really do like have you ever read anything by Kurt Vonnegut?
Yeah, I read a couple of his.
He's one of the authors that I can like. The way that the writing and the prose and the style flows, I can get into it because it's just like he writes in a very different way.
Yeah, I was. It made an impression on me. The books, I can't remember which ones. Just how dark and just sort of not negative, but bleak.
Yeah.
I can't remember which books I read. A friend of mine was telling me how much he liked Kurt Vonnegut, so I read a couple of his books, and I was like, man, these are trip, man. They're super dark, and I didn't really care for it that much, but they were definitely unique the way they were written, for sure. But yeah, I wish I could remember. It was so long ago. Damn, that was
If you,
20 years.
Paul, if you start reading a novel, like all the time, I feel like, okay, they're talking about like the shoes touching the grass, and like they're not really telling you what the character, who they even are, and it's like they're on their way to do something and just kind of describing a bunch of stuff, but it's like, when are they going to talk about like what the, you know what I mean? Like I always almost like have that feeling when I'm trying to read. It's just like, why don't they just tell me the character's name, what they look like, and what they're doing? Like
That's
it's like,
why that's why I like that's why I like the detective stories, because that's kind of what they do. Is they're mostly dialogue, like
sure, yeah,
you get the idea of the character based on their actions and their dialogue, and you don't have a huge description of the whatever environment they're in and
I'm
stuff.
sure of the freaking like sheet on the bed of just like, who cares
Yeah.
about in the first chapter? Like when you don't even know who the guy is. Like I don't know. That's my daily struggle trying to figure out this whole writing thing.
Yeah, that would be daunting. That's why I like comics. I feel like I can do a comic because
Yeah, I think maybe that's why we are drawn to comics, because it's so
yeah,
much
it is.
more direct. It's like, boom, here you go. Like here's what you need. Here it is.
Yeah, it is for me for sure. I get in you. It is to get you into the character's head, Adam. Uh-oh.
See, I think because I don't do that, just the whole thing is a slog for me.
Yeah. Then Philip tried reading Firestarter. I think is that a Stephen King?
I think so.
But he kept doing flashbacks, then a flashback from the flashback, then another flashback. Yeah, that would be annoying. I just over the past few weeks, I've been watching a series called Carnival Row. Have you heard of this?
I don't think so.
It was pretty good. It was like kind of like a fantasy. Um, they have oh gosh, I'm going to sound like a real idiot here, but they have pixies and pucks, and people with horns, all these different characters, you know what I mean, or creatures. What do you call that? Like fantasy, or
Sure.
yeah. So, but it was also kind of a detective story too. It's pretty good. I don't know if it was. I got to
Oh,
look it up, see if it was based on any novels or what. I'm sure it is. Maybe I'll do that right now.
cool. Yeah. Oh,
But
Didi was showcasing the artist that you had mentioned last time.
yeah, so all week long I was like, man, I got to find that book, and I didn't. And here we are, and I'm wanting to go get it, but I don't want to leave you hanging here. It's just
Yeah, I think Didi has a good point of like a lot of stuff is intended to get you into the character's head, and I think I just don't get into it, so it's like it just feels so like awkward most of the time trying to make sense of why they're telling me the information in this way rather than more directly.
okay. Here we go. This is a Victorian fantasy world. That's what the
Oh,
show
nice.
that I'm telling you about. That's what they called it. Oh, now I gotta get another. Let me go to the Wikipedia. It's a television series created by Renee Echevarria and Travis Beecham, based on Beecham's unproduced film spec. Okay, so this is not even based on any kind of novel or anything. Oh, interesting. Mythical creatures. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Carnival Row is the name of the show. Anyway, it's pretty good. I'm going to see if I can do this. There we go. So now I'm not drawing my iPad. Philip's going to get coffee. Look on fantasy. What's this say? What?
I should mention Pierce Anthony. Have you ever heard of that author?
No.
Another fantasy author. I don't think I ever read any of his stuff, but I remember like seeing some of those books.
No, I never heard of that one. Let's see. In grade 7, we had to read Bram Stoker's Dracula, but the teacher tried an experiment and gave us the graphic novel. Thrift books, Paul, for the art book. Thrift books for the art book. What you mean by that?
I think she's recommending if you're going to purchase the art book, try to get it on thrift books.
Oh, I got you. No, the James Christensen book, I have it. It's in my house somewhere. That's what I mean. I'm going to go look. But gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. New ones. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's another part of the challenge of reading is trying to find where the freaking book is in your house.
Yeah, it's that bad, Dee. I've got so many stacks of different books, and I know it's in here somewhere.
Sometimes it'd just be easier to go buy a new one because, like, I don't know where that book is.
Not that one. That one's expensive, man.
Sorry, yeah, not for that. That looked like a pricey book.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It's a beautiful. I actually had bought it before, and then I gave it to a friend of mine who has 2 daughters, and I thought they would like it, so I gave it to them. And then we had, my wife and I had our daughter, Julia, who's 12 now, and I got it for her, and she never really took an interest in it. She's a big reader, and she but it never really appealed to her. She's got she's got stuff that she likes, and it's so strange. I don't get it, but everybody has their own taste, That's all that. So Philip read the Bram Stoker's graphic novel, or Dracula graphic novel.
Nice.
That James Christensen book, Voyage of the Basset, in 1994. I wonder when that thing came out. It's a beautiful book. Like I said, Adam, too, it includes all that drawing and stuff. I really think that that might appeal to you,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that'd be fun to do a book like that. But,
I think she's talking about the other book by that same artist.
Oh, gotcha. Thrift books. I'm trying to go back to the look on.
Are you about to wrap up, Paul?
Yeah, I got to go to the bathroom, so I think I'm going to call it.
Well, it's good to catch you. It's funny, like, I was streaming last night, and then I didn't think I was in any way going to be awake to catch this, but I didn't get sleep, so I'm glad that I had a chance to still
catch
a lot of it.
No, I always enjoy our talks. It's fun. It kind of gets me fired up, to work on my book. So
nice.
All these streams do. Watching Josh, I enjoyed watching Josh. He, just whatever he seems to be talking. I usually just listen. I have it on and I'm listening. But yeah, his are good, and then Artcasters and a lot of, they really inspire me to work on my stuff. So this has been really cool having this community, with all you great artists. It's pretty fun. But anyway, well, I hope you have a great day.
Last night.
What's
Dee Dee
that?
said stream.
What's that, Adam?
Dee Dee says Philip and Adam need to stream soon. We did. We just did a few hours ago.
Yeah, they did, Dee Dee. It was a late night. I fell asleep on the couch last night. Woke up at like 4 a.m. And when I was walking up the stairs to get in bed, I noticed I opened YouTube and they were on. So I just jumped in and said hi real quick, and then went back to sleep. But yeah, you guys were up late. So good to catch you all, though. Good chatting with you, Dee Dee and Philip.
Yeah. Dee Dee.
Adam.
Philip, have a good one.
Yep. You guys have a great day.
I'll have
Talk
a good one.
to you next week.
All right.
See you.
Bye-bye.